Hey guys, welcome to A-Roll Budgets, where I'm striving to be financially free one day at a time. Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well today. I know several of you guys asked me if I was on a debt-free journey, and I am. And I said at some point I was going to actually do a video of this, and so this is finally that point. Um, so I do actually, I'm just like everyone else. I have credit card debt. I have other debts as well. I have a car loan, which is not included in this because I just got the car loan. But I'll worry about that after I get this paid off. So what my objective is to get rid of all of my credit card debt, and then after that tackle my car payment. But I'm going to do it in bits and pieces. So I want to kind of take you along on my journey and show you how I do it, and how I plan to get rid of that while I'm still saving for my retirement. Some people completely stop saving for their retirement to do it and stop everything else to pay off their debt. I've already fully funded my emergency fund. And so now I'm focused on this. I wanted to make sure I had a cushion before I actually just started throwing everything at my credit card debt. So, well, let's go ahead and talk about that. So I'm no different than anyone else. I do have credit card debt. And so the best way for me to have some wins in trying to pay it off is do whatever. Some people do it a couple of ways. They may do that debt snowball method, where you pay out the lowest ones and then gradually go to the next ones, put all your money on the following one. Let me back up. Some people use the debt snowball method, where you're paying minimum balances on all of your ones except the smallest one, and you put the most on that one to pay that off. That's the method I'm using. The avalanche method is where people choose the ones that either have the highest interest rates and try to pay those off first. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter too much to me either way. But the one that makes you feel better, or makes me feel better, is actually the snowball method, because then I can see wins. I can see, okay, this has been paid off. I'm going on to the next one. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So I have this little tracker that I use. I hadn't been using it this way in a while, but I made my little book a while back. I initially got this breakdown from a cash budgeter. Her name was the Crafty Budgeter. She's not doing it anymore. She's doing other things now, but I got this download from her. And then I just created copies and I use it every month. This I created myself just so I can see where I was in my debt journey. And I did do this to pay off all of my credit at some point. And then, of course, I used it again. I didn't pay off all of it. I think I got it down to about maybe $4,000 and then charged some other things up. So either way it goes. This is where I'm at. So let me be forthcoming with that. I have about $23,000 in debt, and the plan is to pay that off in about a year and a half or less. It should take me about a year or less to pay this off. So that's what some of my saving challenges are for. My savings challenges are to go to pay off some of this. It's just it's just easier for me to do a savings challenge and then hit this with a large amount, because then I can see it moving, it decreasing in leaps and bounds. That's kind of how I like to do it. Yes, I pay my regular monthly balances on them and add a little extra. But when I complete a savings challenge, that's when I'll hit a big chunk. Some people say, why don't you just put it on there little by little? Because that's not how I want to do it. I really want to see it go in leaps and bounds. So as long as I make my monthly payments with extra money towards it, because I never pay the minimum balance really. But as long as I do that and then hit it with my savings challenges, it'll go in leaps and bounds. Okay. So let's get into what I have in terms of credit card debt. And this is just kind of picking up where I left off, because some of these have already been taken care of. So for July, my opening balances are such. I have Wells Fargo. I had $318 on that card. My JCPenney's MasterCard had $1,816. My Bank of America MasterCard has $4,477. My Citibank card has $5,793 in balances, and my Fifth Third is $10,926. That's my main bank account card. So my total debt in July was $23,330. Of that, I paid off the 318, so that balance is now zero. I put 1816 on my JCPenney's charge. I thought I paid it off, but apparently I had a couple charges on there, so I'll finish that next month. Um, Leaving me with $83.64. I put 1,050 on my Bank of America. That leaves me with 3,362. And I put just a minimum amount I needed to pay on my city was 100, and that's all I put on there was 5,693. And my my minimum balance I think was 350, and I put 380. So now I have a balance of 10,626. And I put an asterisk here because this does not necessarily include interest, but this is my starting point because they haven't calculated the interest for the next month yet. So that's okay. So it may be a little slightly different because of interest charges. So I started the month with $23,336. I made $3,664 in payments. That leaves me a balance of $19,765. Of that, so that means the net effect of what I really paid was $3,565 because some of that is interest. That's usually what the difference between this is and that. Okay, and so my payment was basically 15% of my debt. So I paid off 15% of what I already owe in terms of debt. So what I do, so for July, this is where I started with 19,000. This is where I ended the month of July with 19,765. I put it over here. I really don't keep my minimum payments here because it's really irrelevant. I know what they are, so I don't really worry about it here. But I start off, this is my old balance. This is my payments. This is where I ended the month, and that's actually going to be where I start the next month. So I really should have wrote 19,765 there. Okay. All right. So what I do for the next month, I just start it over. I have no balance for Wells Fargo, only $84 for JCPenney's, and those are my starting balances for each one of these. And so when I make my payments, I will deduct those from there, and then I'll total that up here. So what I do is now that I've paid off one, I'll put extra money to pay this one off, and the same money that I had that I was allocating for this will go towards this one. So I have a certain dollar amount that I kind of want to pay each month. I think it's about $2,000, anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. So anything extra, I put it on the smallest one, and then I'll work my way up to the top. So hopefully in a couple months, I'll have these two paid off. And then I'll go on to these big ones. So that's kind of how I'm doing my debt. Any extra money will go towards this and my savings challenges to paying off this. Hopefully by the end of the year, I'd like to pay this off without using my bonus, because my bonus, I like to sit my bonus in the bank and invest it. So I don't plan to use any of my bonus to pay off my debt. Just hard work, and wherever I get extra money will go towards this. And then after I go towards this, then I'll go on to something else. The next focus would be paying off the car. But right now, my immediate focus is getting this debt completely off of me. And then I'll go on to, like I said, paying off my car. Okay? So I hope that answered you guys' questions. Yes, I do have debt. And I'm handling it just like everyone else. I'm doing a debt snowball to get rid of it. And try to put the cards away so I'm not using them right now, especially while I'm trying to pay things off. So that's kind of how I kind of focus on it, just paying cash for right now and not using my cards. Okay? Or if I use my cards, then pull the cash out of my categories and pay it back, make sure I pay it back on my card. That's kind of what I do also. Okay? Alrighty, guys, so that's it. So what I will be doing is giving you guys a monthly update on this. I won't do this one weekly because it's not going to change that often. It's not going to change that frequently. It's going to change once a month. But once a month, I will let you guys know where I'm at with my journey. And again, if I get any extra money, I will use it to pay this off sooner than later. And that is my debt journey. That is my debt-free journey that I'm on. Hopefully you guys are on something similar, or hopefully you're not in debt like me. But everybody has a little bit of debt, and sometimes it's best if you don't. I do not advocate having debt. You know, if I had to do things all over again, I would have loved to have been completely debt free. Using it the proper way where I use my cards, if I want to use my cards, then immediately pay them off. I do that with quite a few of them, but sometimes I didn't on this, and that's kind of what happened. But typically now, I really, if I make a purchase on it, I try to pay it off right away. Alrighty. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and then I will see you again next month as I talk about this. All right? Bye bye.